Welcome to today's deep dive. It's kind of fun one.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah, so we're looking at this top 10 funniest dramatic actors list
Oh,
from the Top Tens website. Have you ever heard of that?
yeah, I think so.
Yeah, so it's basically a website where people can vote on like
Oh,
all
yeah.
sorts of different lists, you know.
See,
And
interesting.
this one really caught my eye because it's like funniest dramatic actors. It's like, what does that even mean?
Yeah, that's a very interesting combination.
Right. It's like these two things that we
Yeah.
don't usually put together, you know?
Yeah, totally. We usually think of actors as either,
Yeah.
dramatic actors or comedic actors.
Right. Like you've got your serious Oscar-worthy performances and then
Yeah.
you've got your, laugh out loud comedies.
Yeah,
But this list is like suggesting that there's this overlap between
Yeah.
the two.
definitely. And it's like these actors who are known for their, serious roles
Hmm.
can also be surprisingly funny.
Yeah. And some of the names on this list like immediately jumped out at me.
Oh, yeah. Like who?
Well, like Jack Nicholson, for example.
Oh, wow, yeah.
I mean, we all think of him from, One Flew Over the Cuckoo's Nest.
Right, very intense.
Super intense. But then you see him in something like Something's Gotta Give, and he's got this like
Oh, yeah.
comedic charm. It's like, whoa, where did that come from?
Yeah, it's like a whole other side to him.
Totally. And then there's Robin Williams on this list,
Okay.
which, obviously he's known for his comedy.
Yeah, for sure.
But the fact that he's included here got me thinking, like,
Yeah.
what makes a dramatic actor funny?
Yeah.
What is it about these actors that
Uh-huh.
allows them to, like, bring humor into
Yeah.
these serious roles?
That's a really good question.
Yeah.
And I think it's not just about delivering punchlines or
Yeah.
being goofy. It's more about comedic timing.
Oh, okay.
Yeah. It's like the ability to find those little moments of humor
Right.
in unexpected
Oh,
places.
see.
And I think it often comes with this certain self-awareness
Okay.
where they can kind of play with their own dramatic persona.
So it's almost like they're winking at the audience a little bit.
Exactly. Like they're
But-
in on the joke.
So it's not just about being funny, it's about using humor
Yeah,
to actually enhance the drama.
exactly. Like it adds another layer to the performance.
That makes a lot of sense. And speaking of Robin Williams, one of the fan comments on his entry
Yeah.
really stuck with me. It said something like, he could make you laugh and cry sometimes in the same scene.
Wow. Yeah, that's powerful.
Right. It's like he wasn't afraid to embrace like the full spectrum of human emotion.
Yeah.
And I think that's what made his performances so captivating.
Definitely. It's like you never knew what to expect.
Exactly. And, looking at this list, there are some other names
Yeah.
that really have me intrigued, like Brad Pitt, Johnny Depp, Al Pacino.
Oh, wow.
These are actors that we associate with like really serious,
Yeah.
often intense roles. But the fact that they're on this funniest dramatic actors list is like, it makes you wonder, what kind of humor do they bring to the table?
It is interesting, yeah. It's like we see these actors and we think we know what to expect from them.
Right.
And then they surprise us with these moments of comedy.
And it's those moments that make them even more memorable.
For sure.
Like, take Johnny Depp, for example.
Okay.
The entry on the top tens, it just lists his accomplishments.
Oh, really?
Yeah, it's like almost as if to say his comedic talent is self-evident.
Like it's just a given.
Right. Like, of course Johnny Depp is funny. Have you seen Pirates of the Caribbean?
Yeah. Yeah.
But it made me think, like, what kind of humor does he actually excel at? Because it's not necessarily like
Right.
slapstick or, over-the-top comedy.
Yeah.
There's a subtlety to it.
Yeah, there's like a quirky charm.
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah, and I think that's what makes it so effective. He's not afraid to be a little silly,
Yeah.
to push the boundaries a bit. And that unexpectedness, that's what makes his comedic moments so memorable.
It's like he's playing with our expectations.
Exactly. And I think that element of surprise is crucial
Yeah.
to good comedy.
Right. It keeps us engaged and makes us appreciate the humor even more.
Totally. So we've got these dramatic actors who have these surprising comedic moments. But what about actors who
Yeah.
truly excel in both genres, like consistently?
Right. Like they can do drama and comedy equally well.
Yeah.
Well, I think Tom Hanks is a perfect example of that.
Oh, absolutely. He's on the list.
Yeah, he's like right at the top.
Yeah.
And the fan comment on his entry is just humanly impossible to hate.
Wow. I love that.
Right. And I think that speaks volumes about his ability to connect with audiences on an emotional level.
Yeah. Regardless of the genre.
Exactly. Whether he's making us laugh in Big
Right.
or breaking our hearts in Sethelcia,
Yeah.
we believe him.
Yes. He has this incredible likability
Totally.
that just transcends any specific roles or genres.
He's just Tom Hanks.
He is just Tom Hanks.
And we love him.
And we love him for it.
But you know what's interesting is at the bottom of this list, there are sections for like newcomers and contenders.
Oh, okay.
It's like the top 10s is acknowledging that there's this like wave of actors coming up who are blurring the lines between drama and comedy even further.
Yeah, like they're breaking down the categories.
Exactly.
It's really cool to see.
And some of these names are pretty interesting. Like we've got Hank Azaria, who's mainly known for his voice work on The Simpsons.
Oh, wow, yeah.
So it's like you don't even see his face, but he's creating these characters, you know, using only his voice.
Yeah, and making us laugh.
Right. And that's like a whole other level of comedic talent.
It is, yeah. It's like he's creating these whole personalities just through his voice.
So I guess we're seeing that comedic potential can be found in the most unexpected places. And maybe it's not always about actors going for those big laughs. Sometimes it's about those subtle nuances, you know?
Yeah.
Those little moments that catch us off guard.
For sure.
And make us chuckle. So I'm really excited to dive deeper into some of these actors and really analyze what makes them so unexpectedly funny.
Me too.
Yeah.
I think it'd be really interesting to see what we find. It's really interesting to think about how this list, like, kind of challenges our idea of what's dramatic and what's comedic acting.
Yeah, for sure. It's not always so black and white.
Right. It's more like a spectrum.
Yeah, and sometimes it's like those little touches of humor that can actually make a dramatic performance even more powerful.
Totally. Just like a well-placed joke can actually, like, heighten the tension or the emotional impact.
Yeah. It's like it catches you off guard and makes you feel things even more deeply.
And a perfect example of this, I think, is Buster Keaton.
Oh, interesting.
Yeah, he's on the list. And he was a silent film star, you know, known for his physical comedy.
Right, right.
And it's like a reminder that even without dialogue, an actor can convey both humor and deep emotion.
Yeah, his work is amazing. It's like a masterclass in visual storytelling.
It really is. But moving to a more modern example, I think Heath Ledger's performance as the Joker in The Dark Knight is fascinating.
Oh, absolutely.
It's so disturbing and terrifying, but also, like, darkly funny.
Yeah, it's like he's walking this line between comedy and drama.
Exactly. That menacing laughter, the unpredictable nature of his actions. It's unsettling, but also strangely humorous.
It's like the humor makes him even more menacing because you just never know what he's going to do next.
Right. And speaking of intensity, Al Pacino is another name that kind of made me do a double take.
Oh, yeah, good one.
Because he's known for those explosive, dramatic performances.
Yeah, for sure. So can someone like that really be funny?
I think so. Think about it this way. Pacino's characters, even at their most intense, often have this, like, self-awareness.
Oh, interesting.
Yeah, like a glint of mischief in their eye.
Okay.
It's almost as if they're in on the joke.
Like they're winking at the audience.
Exactly. And that creates this interesting tension between the drama and this, like, subtle undercurrent of humor.
It's not about him cracking jokes, but more about those subtle moments that create a different kind of humor.
Right. And it brings us to another actor who I think embodies this perfectly, Michael Caine.
Okay, yeah.
He's in the contenders section.
Yeah.
And he just has this amazing blend of dramatic gravitas and a sly sense of humor.
Oh, totally. He can deliver those hard-hitting lines with such conviction, but there's always a twinkle in his eye.
Exactly. Like he's letting us in on a secret.
Think about his performance in The Italian Job. He's the mastermind behind the heist.
Right.
But he also delivers these dry, witty lines.
Yes. And it's that contrast, you know, the seriousness of the situation and the unexpected humor that makes it so effective.
It's like he's constantly playing with our expectations.
Exactly. And speaking of playing with expectations, we have to talk about Bruce Willis.
Oh, yes! The action hero with a sense of humor.
Right. He built his whole career on those action hero roles.
Yeah.
But he always brings this sarcastic, like, everyman humor.
It's like he's acknowledging the absurdity of the situations he's in.
Right. Like, yeah, I'm fighting terrorists on a skyscraper, but let's not take ourselves too seriously here.
Yeah, exactly.
That self-awareness is key.
It's what makes those movies so rewatchable. You get the action, the suspense, but also those genuine laugh-out-loud moments.
For sure. And we can't forget Samuel L. Jackson.
Oh, how could we? He's amazing.
A master of both intense drama and sharp, witty dialogue.
It's true. He can command a scene with a single look.
Right. But he also has this incredible comedic timing.
Remember his iconic speech in Pulp Fiction?
Oh, come on, of course.
It's menacing, it's quotable.
And hilarious.
It's all in the delivery, isn't it? The way he says those lines with both intensity and a playful sense of irony.
Exactly. It just shows his range as an actor.
And it reinforces this idea that the best actors are the ones who can surprise us.
Yeah, the ones who can make us laugh, even in the midst of all the drama.
It's like they're reminding us that life is a mix of both, you know? And a great performance captures that complexity.
Totally. Now, I noticed Tom Hanks is listed as a contender.
Yeah, I thought that was kind of strange.
Yeah, considering his amazing career spanning both comedy and drama.
Right.
But I guess even the greats are still pushing boundaries and surprising us.
Yeah, maybe he's got some new tricks up his sleeve.
You never know. Tom Hanks is an interesting case. He just seems to effortlessly shift between genres.
It's true.
And the fan comments on his entry, they really highlight that.
Yeah, what was it? Humanly impossible to hate. Something like that.
Yeah. It speaks to his universal appeal.
It's like he embodies this authenticity that goes beyond specific roles.
Totally. Whether he's making us laugh in Big or breaking our hearts in Philadelphia,
yeah,
we believe him.
And that's what makes him such a compelling actor.
For sure. He can make us feel a whole range of emotions, and he does it with such sincerity.
It's true. So we've talked about some of the big names in this contender section. Michael Caine, Bruce Willis, Samuel L. Jackson, Tom Hanks.
Yeah, a pretty impressive group.
But there are a few other names here that I'm curious to get your take on. Okay, so like one name that I don't know, I'm looking at it and I'm like, really? Christian Bale.
Oh, yeah, interesting.
He's so known for like those intense roles, you know?
Right, transforming himself completely.
Yeah, but like comedic. I'm not sure.
I think that's what makes him such an intriguing contender on this list, right?
Okay, yeah.
We know he could just disappear into a role.
Right.
But there are these hints of like a dry, almost like subversive humor in some of his performances.
Yeah, okay, I see what you mean.
Like American Psycho.
Oh, yeah, okay.
His portrayal of Patrick Bateman.
Oh my God, so creepy.
Right. But there's also this dark, satirical humor woven throughout.
It's like unsettling, but also really funny.
Exactly. And that's what makes me think he has like this untapped comedic potential.
Oh, okay. Interesting.
Like imagine that intensity and commitment, but applied to a purely comedic role.
Yeah, that would be something else.
I know, right?
It's like there's this pattern emerging, you know?
What do you mean?
It's like these dramatic actors, they have this like hidden comedic energy.
I think you're right.
Just waiting to be unleashed.
It goes back to that idea of range, you know?
Okay.
The best actors are the ones who can surprise us.
Right.
Make us laugh and cry, sometimes within the same performance.
Yeah, totally. And it's not always about like going for the big laughs.
Right.
It's those subtle moments, you know?
Yeah.
Like we talked about earlier, Johnny Depp's humor. It's often very subtle, a bit quirky.
It is, yeah.
Not slapstick. It's those small gesture, that glint in his eye.
Exactly.
That makes his comedic timing so effective.
He's playing with our expectations.
Totally. Okay, speaking of curveballs, we have to talk about Nicolas Cage.
Oh, Nicolas Cage. Now there's an interesting one.
He's become such a meme.
He has.
But I kind of get it.
I think there's a certain self-awareness to his work.
Okay.
Like a willingness to embrace the absurd.
Yeah, he's not afraid to take risks, that's for sure.
Exactly. And I think that fearlessness, that willingness to push boundaries, it's what makes him so captivating.
It's like he's challenging what a good performance should be.
Yeah. And sometimes those unconventional choices, they lead to these moments of unexpected brilliance.
Totally. So it seems like this whole list has really been about celebrating actors who defy categorization.
It has, yeah.
Who can blur those lines between drama and comedy.
Right. And ultimately, they remind us that a great performance is about connecting with the audience on a human level.
Absolutely. So as we wrap up our deep dive into this top 10 funniest dramatic actors list, I think the takeaway is clear. Don't underestimate the power of a dramatic actor to make you laugh.
It's true. Keep an open mind. Look for those unexpected moments of humor. And you might just be surprised at the comedic talent hiding beneath the surface.
That's such a good point. You know, you might even discover a new appreciation for your favorite dramatic actors.
Totally.
So thanks for joining us on this deep dive.
Yeah, this is a fun one.
And we'll see you next time.